Is it okay to put it on YouTube? It's okay?
Really?
Good, thank you.
Yeah.
Hello, is this a walking tour?
Yes, it is, but for which one you're looking for? Because we have two tours.
10:30.
This is our tour.
Okay.
Welcome.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm Nancy, and you are?
Daniel
From?
from Norway.
From Norway?
Scandinavia, yes. I look very much Scandinavian, you know. Yes.
Well, yes.
Yeah.
It's too
But I
hot.
live in Japan. I live in Japan, yes, permanently.
Ah,
Yes, yes.
Okay.
I have a question. I am a YouTuber. I make YouTube videos.
Ah, okay.
So it's okay to follow your tour to make a video make you famous?
Of course.
Okay. If other people don't want to be in the camera, just trying to stand behind me.
Behind you.
Yeah.
Once again, my name is Nancy, and I'll be your tour guide on this tour. We call it the 20th century. Why we call that tour the 20th century? Because in this one tour we're going to show you the places, for example, the facilities built during that century. Of course, the places where happened something important for the Serbian custom, tradition, history, culture, for the everything during that period. On this one tour we are going to show you, for example, the first Serbian skyscraper, one of the first important hotels, not only in Serbia, in Belgrade as well. The city assembly, the national assembly, or Serbian people usually say AHA, parliament. After that, Nikola Square, one of the first modern cinema, and of course Nikola Tesla Museum, the Schmeiden Park, NATO bombing buildings, and finally St. Sava Temple, the second biggest Orthodox church in the whole world. On this one tour we are also going to take the experience of the best ice cream in Serbia, and it was announced like one of the top 10 ice cream in the whole world, and I hope you will like it. Anyway, our first stop here is Knez Mikhailovich Street behind you. This street is actually the first main street in our country. Why is it called Knez Mikhailovich? A guy on a horse where was our meeting place liberated Serbia, actually liberated Belgrade and some parts of the Ottoman Empire. He got the city keys from the Turkish Pasha by the Ferman, very important Turkish law in 1867, and a few months later he decided to name this street. This was the main street, not only in our capital, in this part of the Serbia. Why? Because this street connected even nowadays. From the one side where we're standing now, the city center and the main square, and on the other side Kalemegdan Park and Belgrade Fortress, the main spot of our capital. Of course, wish you welcome to the city. We call it White City. I suppose that many people already know why it's called White City. For example, people they visited already our downtown standard basic city center tour. White, we say Beo, city, grad. Beograd, that's the name for Belgrade in Serbian language. And of course, welcome to the city. It was announced by the Lonely Planet in 2010, like city with the third best geographical situation after Istanbul and Rio de Janeiro. Welcome to the 45th Belgrade, because this city was crashed 44 times before. And of course, finally, welcome to our city center. This building, this just strictly in front of you. Okay, in front of you is the first Serbian skyscraper. But if I told you that this one was built in 1931, in that period it was really the first Serbian skyscraper and Yugoslavian as well. Of course, the biggest building in our capital. In that period, Belgrade was the capital of the Kingdom of Yugoslavia. In 1930, we got the name Yugoslavia. In 1929, and the leader in that period was King Alexander Karađorđević by the overall family Karađorđević. We call it, this one, Palace Albania, since the beginning until nowadays. And of course, why Palace Albania? For the two reasons. You can hear me. My dear guests, we are now located on a Terazije square. And why we call it Terazije? Because it was called Terazije by this drinking fountain. As you can see, it's written there, M-O, like the first letters of the name of the first Serbian knyaz. Knyaz is a similar title like Prince, Duke. Miloš Obrenović, he was the father of our Prince Michael Obrenović, who got the city keys from the Turkish Pasha by the Ferman in 1867. And it's written here, 1860. But what is also located important of this square? In front of you, it's written Casino Hotel, 3 stars. This is the first Belgrade hotel, and it was built in 1856. 50 years, so 5 decades after that, we got another hotel behind you, the Hotel Moscow. Nowadays it is more important, more popular, and usually people say more beautiful as well. As you can see, it's written the year 1906, and of course why is it so important for us? You should know that especially in the beginning of the 20th century, Serbia had an excellent relation with the Russian Federation, actually the Russian Kingdom. In that period, Russian people invested so much money in a Serbian kingdom, and that was the main reason why Russian people built the big building in a main Belgrade center, but the first purpose of this building was some kind of a Russian bank. Later, it was a big problem also where to accommodate all of the people from Russia. They come here, and that was the reason why later our King Petar Karađorđević decided to change the purpose from the bank to the hotel. Of course, everything that you can see here about this green decoration, it was directly brought from Russia, from the neighborhood of the Moscow, you know, the capital of Russia, and there are also
Monument for the First World War.
You can see the statue over there in the middle of the square, and on the bottom it's written Nikola Pašić, 1846, 1926.
Say the name again of the square.
Nikola Pašić. Nikola Pašić was our prime minister before and during the First World War. But why this square is more important in the next period? Later, especially after the Second World War, we got completely changes, very big changes. We got a new leader, Josip Broz Tito. Downtown Okay, now we are located in the beginning of the longest Belgrade and Serbian street. Over there is the beginning of the Boulevard of King Alexander, and that street is long, approximately 18 kilometers. But what is located here on the main beginning of a longer street? Of course, I showed to you the historical museum in the first corner. This part is actually the part of the Pioneer Park, and this building is our city assembly. On the opposite side is the National Assembly. But what is actually very important fact connected with this building? Explain the first stop, now about the second stop. At first, you should know that this building was also built during the beginning of the 20th century, like the main residence for the our royal family. You should know that even nowadays we are not like UK, but we have national president, prime minister, king, queen, so we have everything in Serbia. But as I said, the national nowadays, the king was living here. But can you tell me the year of starting Second World War? It started at 41. But what actually happened before? Unfortunately, our King Alexander Karađorđević was assassinated during his official visit in Marseille, in France, in the October 1948.
You think this is again?
City Assembly, Historical Museum, National Assembly.
Good. Old palace, new palace over there, and a parliament. What a building this is?
Wait, I will tell you.
Okay, good.
Corner where the clock is the main post office. This one post office was built in the first 2 decades of the 20th century. One technical information. This is the only post office in Serbia that works 24 hours, 365 days per year. So if you need anything, just go directly to this post office. The main entrance of this is on this one side, and on this side is located our main constitutional court. But on the left side is located big church. This is the church of the Saint Mark, or we call it Saint Marco. And of course, before we decided to build and we started to build the Saint Sava temple, this was the biggest Orthodox church in all Yugoslavia. So not only in Belgrade, in Serbia, no, in all Yugoslavian kingdom. The Saint Marco church, it was built in a period 1923-1925, and even nowadays it's not finished completely, looking by the interior, so inside. This church is built in a typical Serbo-Byzantine style. You should know that in some period, for example in the 9th, 11th, 12th century, we were under the Byzantine Orthodox Church, so we had no independent church, and that was the reason why many monasteries from that period were actually built looking in the Byzantine style. Later, when we finally got the independent Orthodox Serbian church, we decided to have somehow similar style, similar to the Byzantine, but we call it Serbo-Byzantine. This is that kind of style, and why this church is very interesting. Because, for example, if you have enough time, it's free to go inside, you don't need to pay. But of course, when you come in to the church, also on the right, also on the left side, you will see two models of the church, of this church. On the right side, you will see small one model, but it's interesting because it was made by only one tree, without any gram of glue. And on the other side, so on the left side, you will see very big model, but the purpose of this is hive, the house for the bees. And it's really interesting because only one guy made it, and he said that he actually, let's say, invested 6 years and 4 months of making only that kind of the masterpiece.
Yes. Hello, 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 hello. Hello, hello, hello. Yeah.
Blue board. Can you read what's written there?
Krinska.
Kronska, that's right. Ulica Kronska, in English, the street of the crowns. Why? Because we have so many royal families during our history, but there were many reasons. But mostly, usually people say, how we have 2 reasons why this street was called the crown. Because many embassies of the royal family are situated in this street, and of course, in the end of this street is actually the main beginning of the complex of all the new palace, actually the royal palace. There you can see one blue roof with a gold bird on the top, and that's actually the main, nowadays, the private cabinet for our national Serbian president, but in that period, the complex of our royal family. Here in the beginning of the tour, we are going to make a little break. This is not the half of the hour tour, we already passed that. But a little break here, as it's written, Moritz Ice. It was announced like the best ice cream in Serbia and one of the top 10 the world's list. Remember, you're not obligated to buy, but you can taste all the flavors.
No, just the recommended one. Recommend the typical one. I want to recommend
Just
that.
they have over 200 flavors, and they're changing.
See, this is a problem for us. We cannot.
Okay, vanilla from Madagascar, because why is it so specific? It's not aromatized.
$160? Yeah, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Definitely ice cream.
It's beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
The Nikola Tesla Museum. So we're also in Krunska Street, but number 51. This is the address of the most popular, the most visited museum these days in our country. I wouldn't tell you a lot about Nikola Tesla's life, Nikola Tesla's museum, because if you really want to get some pieces of information, you will go there. And of course, you should know that Nikola Tesla was a very important guy. But for example, if you want to go to Austria, you will hear that Tesla was Austrian. In Croatia, he was a Croatian guy. In America, he was American. And you came to Serbia, of course, I will tell you Tesla was a Serbian guy. What is the main connection between these four countries? Tesla was born in 1856 in area called the Lika. In that period, it was a part of the Hungary-Austrian Empire. Nowadays, that part belongs to Croatia. Tesla spent most of his life in the United States, but he was born in a traditional old Serbian family, and his father was a Serbian Orthodox priest.
Wow, millionaire.
You're rich.
Suddenly feel rich. Wow, I have money in my pocket. All the numbers.
Gonna go buy a hotel.
Yeah, but you can watch this way. Then it's nothing.
Okay, my dear guests, we are now located in our last stop, Saint Sava Temple. I told you that this Saint Sava Temple is the second biggest Orthodox church in the whole world. Now the question for you is, what do you think where is located the number one? Orthodox.
Bulgaria.
Russia. In Moscow, the Temple of the Jesus Savior.
Say this name again.
This is the Saint Sava Temple in Belgrade. Maybe some of you can see the statue over there. This is the statue of our Saint Sava. Saint Sava was very important saint guy. For example, what is the Nikola Tesla in science, especially in a Serbian science? That's exactly Saint Sava in a Serbian Orthodox Church. It's also something similar story with Nikola Tesla. Saint Sava was the son of the first Serbian leader, Stefan Nemanja, who was living in the 12th century. And he was the leader, he established the first Serbian state, and he had 3 sons. Sava was the youngest, but never mind. His father said, I'm the leader, and of course you're my son, you're a male. You need to be the leader, of course. But Sava told to the father, I want to be a leader, I want to be a monk. Also, you should know, being a monk and being a priest in Serbia, 2 completely different things. Because being a monk doesn't mean that for them it's prohibited to go outside of the monastery, to have a wife. But being a priest, for them is also prohibited to do some things, but they're allowed to have the wife, the children, to go outside, to travel, and they mostly live like ordinary people. Sava wanted to be a monk, and he became it. Anyway, he spent most of his life in Greece, also in some part of the Asia Mall, and of course in some parts of the important Serbian monasteries. And he did 3 things that Serbian people respected so much at first. Thanks to Saint Sava, we have nowadays completely independent Serbian Orthodox Church. I told you, while we were located close to the St. Marko Church, we were under the Byzantine Orthodox Church, and we had no any rights to do anything. Second one, he said that schools must be allowed also for the kids of the ordinary people, not only for the VIP. And the third thing, he just wrote important rules for the Serbian Orthodox Church that even nowadays for example, we are serving the liturgies thanks to the Saint Sava rules. Thanks to these 3 parts, these 3, let's say, important things what Sava did for us, Serbian people respected, and he was respected even in a medieval period. Anyway, we became a part of the Ottoman Empire officially in 1459. One almost century and a half after that, Turkish people cremated the body of the Saint Sava. In a Serbian religion, it's a very big sin to cremate someone, anyone, especially the person who is a saint. And they did it. Since that period, that happened in 1594, since that period, Serbian people promised the God that we are going to make, actually we are going to build, as big as possible temple on the same place where Saint Sava was cremated in honor to him. And we did it. It's not the biggest, as I said, Russian people have bigger, but we have the biggest in our country. As you can see, it's not finished 100%, but mostly 95-98% by the exterior, and it is full of the marble. Also some parts are finished by the limestone, but mostly by the marble. And of course, you can see it, if you want to come closer, you will see that we have 4 cupolas, and between all of them, one the biggest. On the biggest is located very big cross, and I wouldn't tell you, for example, the dimensions of the old cross. I will try, I will let you guess. Because usually people say, so just don't understand me wrong. Not the old cupola, just the cross located on the main cupola.
What is this beside this?
Oh, this is an old church of the Saint
Oh, the church.
Sava.
Mhm.
It was built before this
Before
one was
this.
finished,
Okay.
but this one is still active.
Okay.
18 meters is high, the biggest cross. You should know that everything here, what you can see, it looks like yellow. It is actually a pure gold. The underground, but we are going to see it also upper part and lower part. One technical information, this is the church, but this is also traced. Officially, welcome to the Saint Sava church inside. Right. We can see that the interior is not finished, and it is a plan that is going to be full of the mosaics. Nowadays we have only one, unfortunately, finished mosaic, and I will show you a little later where it is. And of course, the next one, complex of the mosaics that is going to be finished, is inside the main cupola. But now we're going to see that little part over there on your left side with the red carpet and icons.
Kuppel ist so komplett freistehend, ja.
And of course, you should know for the differences in a Catholic church and in some specific Orthodox churches, people sit. We don't sit. We, Russian people, Bulgarian people, Georgian people, and in Egypt, Copts, we don't sit because we believe it's a bigger respect to the God if we are standing all the time. Sometimes our liturgies take over 7 hours and people are standing really all the time. Even you can see little kids. Anyway, I said to you that we have only one completely finished mosaic. It's this one. Unfortunately, it's covered with this something plastic blue. Up is just a copy of one fresco painting called White Angel from Mileševa monastery located in the southwest Serbia. But on the bottom over there, it's a symbol for the Orthodox Easter. And this is the only completely finished mosaic. The next one, as it's the complex of mosaic that is going to be finished, is, if you come closer, you will see. About the works over there, in the main cupola. Up. Can you see it? I mean, you can't see the mosaic, but you can see works over there. And when I say 10,000 people in the whole temple, I include this, the main part, we call it naos, it is the Greek word. This one little part, where we're standing now, on the opposite side, there is also the same part like this one, and of course, 3 half cupolas. Over there, the first, the second, and above us, 3, all of them. And they are, for example, they are reserved for many choirs for the singers. Also, you should know that we in Orthodox Church don't use any kind of the instrument during the liturgy. Now we go to see the underground church or the crypt over there, and you should know that crypt is completely finished and full of the gold fresco paintings. Let's go to see. Embrace, especially during the communist period, and the last one, constructing period, starting in 2000. Here I wouldn't tell you any story in the crypt, but I'm going to give you 10 or 15 minutes if you want to just look around or take photos. And I'm here close to the entrance.
What is this photos about? Exhibition.
About the soldiers from
Soldiers.
the First World War, and about the old people. They passed through the Albanian mountains 1915-1916. For example, come here to show you. It's written or in Serbian or in French. In that period, French was a diplomatic language. And for example, here is written. Of course, all photos are brought here by the great children of these people. And for example, here it's written, my grandfather, Ljubomir Velić, my grandfather, Milorad Velić. He was the son of this guy, and it's written here. This guy, in 1914, he brought with himself his very young son. In that period, he had only 11 years. And of course, during this very big walk, during passing through the Albanian mountains, this guy, who had only 11 years old, he got a big disease and he wanted just to give up. But he said, but while he was trying to give up from the continued way, he got he was hit by his father because he said, I'm a soldier. I wanted to make an honor to the oldest country, and you also need to do that. Later, and he survived the Albanian mountains, his father also, but after that, he came back to the Serbia. He was the guy when we established our kingdom in 1918, and after that he finished the high military school, and the high military academy. And he became also a very important soldier. So all this exhibition is about the warriors, or just important mayors of Serbian people. They were passing through the Albanian mountains in December 1915 and January 1916, so during the First World War. This is our last stop, but not the last story. In front of you, this facility nowadays is the main library, state library, and for example, you should know that we had another one, but except the royal residence, the Hitler's target during the bombing, that was actually the first day of the Second World War in our country, except the royal residence, the target was also the National Library, which was located completely on the other side of the street, close to the Sava river, but located in a city center, and he destroyed over 500,000 important books, paper documents, important for the Serbian state, culture, history, for everything, and they date back to the 11th century. And after that, because it was completely demolished after the Second World War, we built this one, which nowadays is still active. And we usually say that on the same spot we have one of the biggest institutions, St. Sava Temple and the National Library. Okay, this is the end of our tour. Thank you for coming. Thank you for coming on this weather. I can see that you're tired, that you're thirsty, hungry, but thank you for coming, and I hope you will enjoy during the rest of your time in Belgrade. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Hvala. Gracias.
Rica ederim.
Thank you. Enjoy.
Thank you. You will make a video
Yes. I
and you will publish it on the YouTube.
YouTube. Yeah.